Hello, my name is Irresolute Cartographer. From my name you can probably tell that I enjoy maps, and from this being a video about video gaming, that I'm into video games, but I'm a bit fickle about the video game that I choose to play from day to day. So, today I thought I'd play Minecraft and I'd share with you all my love of building underwater bases, and show you some of the techniques that you may or may not be aware of. Minecraft is not a new game, so in all likelihood some of y'all know this. But for those of you who don't, I hope you learn something, and I hope everybody enjoys it. So I just started up this new game. Now I did actually look around a little bit to make sure that this wouldn't be completely useless, because I didn't want there to be an ocean too far away, and there is an ocean right over there. I did cut a little bit of this grass here. There also is a nice village over here, which I'll probably go to steal some of their crops. So basically, when I build an underground base, I like to have it be pretty much self-sufficient from the second that I open it up. So what that means is that I need to be able to grow food down there. So that's why I'm cutting up this grass here, so I can get as much of this wheat seed as I can. Typically, I like to have no less than 20 pieces of wheat seed, but really even one will do when it comes right down to it. Well, actually one probably, it'd be a little risky to go with just one. You can't assume that the growth is going to always provide you with seeds when you're picking up wheat. So anyway, I'll get over here. There's the obligatory taking inventory achievement. And getting wood, for those who love double entendres. Alright. And oh, no. Alright. So then I'm going to need some tools, obviously. And a workbench. And there's another one of the ridiculous achievements. Alright. So, because I want to be self-sufficient, I don't want just wheat, and a lot of the times these villages do have potatoes and carrots that they've got growing in them, along with wheat, but again, we've already got wheat seeds. And this guy's trapped in his house. I'm going to let him out. Alright. Okay, let's see if they've got anything growing here. Okay. Carrot. I don't like taking anything if I can't immediately replant it. I don't like the actual feeling that I'm stealing, which I know is a bit ridiculous, but hey, that's just the way I play. Just wheat there. There's a guy who built a deck out of dirt, because why not? Let's see. It's interesting, I've not really seen that much of this dead grass used as a path thing before, but then again, I haven't really played that much Minecraft lately. Oh yeah, the sugar beets. Get some of these. Beetroots, I guess. Okay. And more carrots. I was hoping to find some potatoes, because a baked potato is pretty much the equivalent of just eating a loaf of bread. But it's a lot easier because you don't have to first grow the wheat and then convert it into bread. It's just an immediate thing. You throw it into a furnace and get what you need. Gonna grab these last carrots here. Okay. Well, unfortunately, it looks like those were the only crops they had available. So I will have to hope that at some point a zombie will wander into my underground base and be carrying a potato, because they do that. Now I'm going to need more wood, because until I actually get some saplings growing down there, and just so you know, if you don't know, you can have trees grow anywhere as long as you've got enough space and enough light. So you can absolutely grow trees underground. But until I get those saplings growing down there, I'm going to need wood for tools and chests and things like that, and I'm not going to have any access to it unless I come back to the service, which, again, I don't generally like to do if I don't have to. I like to burrow into the ground and stick in there like a tick or something, I don't know. Until, eventually I'll get the place set up enough that I'll actually want to bring in some livestock. And other than chickens, which are pretty easy to bring in because you can just grab some eggs, the rest of them you actually have to lead in, which typically, oh, zombie, typically necessitates the building of a tunnel to the surface. Excellent. This is a nice wide-looking ocean here. Alright, now I'm going to need dirt and stone. Stone for tools, dirt because in order to get down into the depths and not drown, you have to build air pockets, which works with the lovely craziness of Minecraft's physics system. Which, I wasn't there back when it happened, but from what I understand, back in the early days of Minecraft, water would literally just fill the world eventually. And I feel like I've read that anyway. These days, water has its very interesting little physics to it that you can duplicate water and everything like that, but most of y'all probably know about that. If not, I'll be doing it later anyway to get water for the crops I'm going to be growing underground. So, alright. And just to say, this video is the first one, and it's only going to really be from just starting to actually building the tunnel down into the ground under the ocean. Now, I don't recall seeing any sheep up there on the surface, but it's quite possible I just missed them. Either way, you don't have to have wool to make a bed necessarily, from a sheep at least. I mean, you have to have wool, but you can make wool from spider silk. So, anyway, I'm just gathering enough stone real quick to make some stone tools, because you cannot use a wooden pickaxe on the bottom of the ocean. You're just asking to drown if you do that. It's just, it drills way too slowly. And another achievement. What the heck is that noise? I think something just died. And really only one shovel is really what I need right now. Alright, I think I'm going to get a little bit more dirt. And part of that's for the air pockets, but along with that, back before Minecraft introduced andesite, diorite, and granite, there were a lot more dirt pockets in the ground. And those dirt pockets were what I used to use to plant the crops underground. But now that there are andesite, diorite, and granite, those dirt pockets are a lot less common. Oh, sun's going down. I really do wish I had some wool, because at night it is very difficult to see at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, it's already difficult during the day, and this is with brightness turned all the way up. But at night it's incredibly difficult. But I'll have to do what I can. Oh, and I will definitely need torches as a side note there. So I'm going to make a quick furnace. And unfortunately, as I don't have access to coal at the moment, I'm going to just have to burn some wood. Which, for those of you who don't know, a block of wood has enough heat to convert 1.5 blocks of whatever it is you're attempting to change. In this case, I'm changing acacia wood into charcoal by burning acacia wood. I hope that's the way to pronounce it. Anyway. So by burning 2 of those blocks of wood, I get 3 pieces of charcoal from 3 blocks of wood. Very inefficient, and I don't really typically like to do it because coal is so common, but because I don't have any right now, I'm just going to have to do it. So, and I know that's more torches than I need, or more sticks than I need, I mean. But when it comes right down to it, I'll have them if I need them. And I've got plenty of wood otherwise. Alright, I'm going to head out into the ocean. Now, I typically like to find the deepest point I can. Just because the reason I do this, really, I mean, you don't have to do this, obviously, but I enjoy the challenge that comes from building these things in the deep ocean. Alright, now I see a low planar area up here. And again, yeah, I do have brightness turned all the way up, just because... Oh, sheep! because it becomes, oh, creepers as well, because it becomes incredibly difficult to see at the bottom, even during the day, if you don't have the brightness up. So I am going to go see if I can't get some wool to make a bed. Because I'd rather not rely on spider silk, just because who knows where the closest cave or mine shaft might be. I mean, granted, they're pretty common, but at the same time, I don't want to have to rely on that when I've got access to wool right here. Alright. And I get to use one of the... Oh, I forgot. Okay. Get to make a sword. Okay. That's just my typical arrangement. Pick, shovel, torches, sword, and then typically axe. That's the way I usually do it. I hate doing this to the sheep too, because if I had shears, obviously I could just get the wool directly off the sheep without killing them, but given that I don't have any shears, oh man, this stinks too, because given that there are 2 sheep left, and they're so close to the water, eventually I'll probably want to bring these things... Oh, there's some sheep over there too. Okay, but in fact, I think I will actually go over one of them. Eventually I'm going to want to bring animals in. And actually I will go after this one because my tunnel will probably go to the mainland over there rather than to this little island here. So, sorry. But hey, mutton too. Which, in its raw form, will only give me a little bit of... Oh, jeez. A little bit of sustenance, but still something. There are a lot of mobs over there. 2 skeletons, 3 creepers, a zombie, and a spider. That's some... Man, the view distance on that's a bit ridiculous. Maybe it's because I'm in the water or something. I do have my view distance turned up pretty high, though. Alright, so here we are at the deepest point. So I'm going to get out the dirt. You can see I'm already sinking here. Okay. Typically, you want to try to go back up when you got half your oxygen left, which obviously I wasn't able to do. It was a little bit deeper there. And I'm going to drown a little bit, but it's not going to kill me. Alright, heading back down. And I'm in the process of constructing an air pocket. The nice thing is that when I put that dirt down, it ended up replacing the water that was there with dirt. Now when I remove that dirt, it doesn't have the water rush back in. Instead, it'll be just an empty pocket full of air. I might need to eat some mutton, no matter how little sustenance I get from it. Alright, air. So we got the first air pocket. In fact, yeah, this is pretty nasty, but I'm gonna eat raw mutton. Okay. Now then, we have to go deeper. Oh, crap. Just gonna have to mine all that out. Back to the air pocket. And again, I'm gonna drown a little bit. I gotta time this better. Okay. Really would just be nasty to sit there eating raw mutton. And it'd still be warm too, you know, that's the thing. Which, I don't know, I guess if you're gonna eat raw meat, warm is probably better than not, but... Anyway. Okay. And one more air pocket should do it. In fact, I'm gonna save some of this dirt. It's not necessary. You gotta surround it on 4 sides and on top, but the lovely physics of Minecraft make it so that things float. So, let's see. There we are. And down we go. Still have these nice lit air pockets, which form a path, really, if you're looking to come back down from the surface, if you have to go out and get something. This was stupid. I don't know why I built it that close to the ground. In fact, I'm going to have to fix that. Got air again. Okay. Jeez. And back for air, and this next time I shouldn't have to go back for air. I should just be able to use that air pocket. There we go. And the last time. Okay. Dig it out. There we go. We're on the bottom of the ocean now. And again, I'm saving this dirt so I can use it later in the farms. No point in leaving it here like this. Especially not with how rare it is in the ground now. Okay, so typically I like to dig a nice 2x2 hole. And you can see the seafloor here is made of granite, or gravel, sorry, not granite. And that's, as far as I know, uniform. I don't think I've seen anything other than gravel on the bottom of the ocean, which it does pose a problem if you're trying to build structures on the surface of the bottom. Just because, I mean, digging up to it and everything like that, the gravel starts falling in, and then you got water rushing in, and should have gone back sooner. But I can spare a couple of carrots. I'll hold on to that for a second. Now, you'll notice I'm sticking to the edge of the hole rather than going down into it, and that's because, well, before when I was creating the air pockets, it was leaving behind a pocket of air. Now when I'm removing the dirt, water is rushing down into a pocket that would be filled with air if it didn't have water above it, which means I've got water flowing down into the hole, which forms this current, which makes it actually, oh, jeez, very difficult to get out. Like you can see right there. Go get some air again. Just to demonstrate real quick. I'm going up now versus when I go down into the hole. See how the force of the downward water carries you down, and you got to fight against it. Okay. So, one more level down in the stone, and jeez, I need to stop. Okay, there we go. I was worried I might drown a little bit, but not the case. So, thing is, standing on the bottom makes it a lot easier to mine than floating around in the water. And also, just standing here like this makes it so I can mine straight down here like this without dropping all the way down into the current. All I gotta fight this in this case is one block of downward current versus 3. There we go. Back to it. Okay. So, now that I've done that, I'm going to go down in here, and you got to mine straight ahead first. You got to get the second block up off the ground, then the block that's on the ground. Because if you mine the block on the ground, then the block above it, they'll both fill up with water. So, anyway, I've now got this nice little area down here. I'm going to mine out all the sides because this will be a channel, a shaft going straight down into the ground. And I do want to make sure that if I'm ever having to come back up, that there's not a problem with it. And I made a mistake there. I should have mined out this area right here first. I'll show you why here in just a second. Now, by just putting dirt there, got rid of the currents of water flowing in. Okay, gonna pick all that up. And now another quick tip real quick. Look how fast I mine when I'm standing here, head in the dry air here, versus when my head's in the water. It's a very significant difference. Oh, iron. Not bad. Now then, let's see. Yeah, that'll do. Uh-oh. Probably should have just stuck to stone. Uh-oh. This is going to be a problem, probably. It's going to drown just a little bit. Nope. Excellent. Okay. Now you can see that the water is flowing in here right now, but there's a way to keep that from happening when you mine out the rest of the walls. And you saw the mistake I made the first time, where I just kind of mined right up against the floor and it all flowed in. Well, now that I've mined out the floor here, watch this, and it doesn't come in, because it's already got a way to go down. If you give it another outlet to go straight down, it's always going to go down rather than out. And again, I'm going to mine this as well, because no reason to leave it behind. Although I will eventually, because I'm a little bit compulsive in this sort of thing, replace this with plain stone. I'm going to put cobblestone in for now, but I don't really like the look of cobblestone, so anyway, it's a temporary thing. More air pockets. Again, this just makes it a lot easier. If you're going up or down, you don't really have to, make sure you're on one side or something like that. You can go to any wall of the tunnel. Okay, now that I've gotten this deep, I'm going to look at actually doing the bottom part of the base here, the front entrance basically. It will look like a fountain when it's done, with water rushing down into it. Okay, let's see. That's and I typically like to have 4 blocks of air with 3 blocks of roof and floor below it and above it. Just because when you're growing crops, it helps to have it so that when you have water running on a level, if it's just got 1 block right below it, it's going to drip. The water's going to be visibly dripping through beneath that. So if you've got 2 blocks below it, though, you can't see the water dripping through, and I typically like to have it that way. So if you've got 1 block of water, 2 blocks of stone beneath it, you got to consider 3 blocks per level. And that's typically the way I just do it. And I like having 4 blocks because, you really only need 2, but 4 looks a lot more spacious. So I've now got 3 blocks to form the ceiling. And I'm going to have to go down in here, unfortunately. Looks like we've hit some granite. And I can really only dig out a couple of these at a time without having to worry about drowning. So, come back up. Gonna head back down. And in fact, because this is now below the floor, or the ceiling, I guess, really, I can mine this out, and this will be the top of the opening that will be the entrance. And let's see. Okay, so I'm going to put a torch up here so I can see, and so you all can see. And 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks down to the next floor down. There's nothing really to that, it's just the way I like to do it. So then, let's see if I can fix this water flow situation a little bit. Note how long it takes to dig out some dirt while you're just kind of floating up and down in the water. Alright, there we go. Now, I would dig this floor out typically, normally if I was going down like that up there, but because in this case I'm actually now at the ground floor, I'm going to just leave it as it is. And of course, sometimes I might dig it down through and basically have this just kind of be like a really slow elevator that you've got to swim up and down yourself. But in this case, I'm going to leave it. So, eventually I'm going to replace that because I do like having a lip, basically so that the opening to this fountain area is only 3 tall, whereas the floor is 4 tall overall. So there goes that. Okay. Alright. Next. Mining into the main chamber here. Well, the entry hall, at least. Okay. I'm going to mine around these pillars. And basically, the thing to think about with building these underground bases is you're going to have to dig out a lot of stone. There's just really no way around it. The nice thing, though, is that unlike bases that you build above ground where you're constantly having to look for materials, and again, this is playing in survival mode, which is really the only mode I ever play in. I don't play in creative mode. I find this to be a lot more fun to have to work for the stuff rather than just build with it. Because when you have to survive and build, it's just a new level of gameplay. So, I'm just going to finish mining out this area around the pillars here that will form the exterior ring of the fountain. I used to mine these things out with nothing but stone pickaxes, and I'm talking chambers big enough to hold the jungle giant trees, the 4x4s that grow very tall. You can build chambers big enough to hold those things underground. It just takes a long time, but I'm the sort of person where if I just start playing this, turn on Netflix or something like that, I can sit here for hours doing this sort of thing. Kind of one of those things where so long as my brain's engaged with two different things at once, it's happy. Which I know the... Oh, cool. People say that multitasking actually makes you worse at doing each one of the things individually, but I mean, we're talking Netflix and Minecraft, so it's not really something that I'm looking to do in a horribly skilled way when I'm playing it on a moment-to-moment basis. And then again, the nice thing is I don't have to look for all these minerals. I don't have to go out and find stone and dig up big mines for it and stuff, because effectively my entire place is a mine. The big thing for this is that you got to think about what you want to do. What form do you want your final base to take? I will eventually put some stone up in there. Just for now, I'm just going to light this area to keep monsters out. Alright, I'm going to mine out one more layer around this. Because I'm going to have a ring of water around the columns as well. And I will probably eventually replace that granite with plain stone, just because I like to have the constant look of the stone around it. Oh, I hear lava. I mean, I'm fairly certain I'm pretty deep here. And that's the other nice thing, is that when you build an underground undersea base, you're not having to dig down to find the minerals. You're amongst the minerals. I'm sure watching this wall of stone be chipped away is not the most compelling gameplay, but at the same time, I mean, for me, it's kind of scratching that sort of itch that the one more turn button in Civilization does. Alright, now. Again, here's the water rushes in here. So in later videos, I'll show exactly the way I lay out farms underground, which they're, of course, a really efficient way of doing farms, the automated way of doing farms. I've done those before. And, I mean, they do take a while to set up, and they're interesting and everything like that, but I'm not that entertained by the automatic farms. And then even beyond that, unless you're willing to basically enslave a villager to be sitting around constantly waiting to plant crops, you got to go in and replant them all by hand, which, I mean, you're doing the same thing. It's just making harvesting faster, which I've never really been bothered by the length of time that it takes to harvest crops. So, alright, now outside of the fountain area here. And I say enslave the villager to do that, but I mean, come on, it's no worse than really what you have to do to make an iron farm. So, okay. So, this can be basically the starting area from which you branch out and build whatever it is you want to build. And because I got that wool earlier, I can now build myself a bed and lock myself down, tie myself to this place. There we go. I'm now locked down to this underground underwater base. And again, it's just like the kernel of one of these things from which you can grow a massive, massive place. Something that I've done many times before and something that I actually enjoy quite a bit. So, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. The next ones I make will deal with things like, again, growing crops underground and just growing trees and branching out and everything like that. So, alright. Thank you.